was America great? At the turn of the century, our economy was rocking. This is 1900, 125 years ago. We had no income tax. And all we had was tariffs. All we had was tariffs. And we had so much money that we had the greatest businessmen of America get together to try to figure out how to spend it. That's who we were then. But then we had World War I and we had World War II. And we felt we had a duty to rebuild the rest of the world. So here's what we did. We took down our protection. We took down our tariffs. And we turned instead and we taxed Americans so that we could export the power of our economy and save the rest of the world, which we did. Now let me ask you a question. What decade should that have ended? Should it have ended in the 80s? The 90s? 2000? What in the world are we doing? We're letting the rest of the world eat our lunch. And it is time to make America great again.
I agree.
That's the man that I want running the money for this country. In case you have not heard, that is Mr. Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is now the new Secretary of, let me just read it for you. I am thrilled to announce that Howard Lutnick, Chairman and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, will join my administration as United States Secretary of Commerce. He will lead our tariff and trade agenda with additional direct responsibility for the Office of the United States Trade Representative. In his role as co-chair of the Trump-Vance transition team, Howard has created the most sophisticated process and system to assist us in creating the greatest administration America has ever seen. I'm going to play some more about Howard, but notice what he said in that little snippet you just heard from, I think it was the New York City rally. And what he said in that rally and what you just heard right now is something I echoed yesterday with what Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are doing, and how they're doing it conjunctively, basically. At this point, I firmly believe we are heading to an era of no income tax. I don't know how fast he'll do it. I don't know how long it will take him to get it there. But I think Trump is about to launch no income tax. And this guy, Howard Lutnick, is the guy to get us there, to get us to that point. Liberal heads will melt. I don't even care. Don't care anymore. Don't even give one about what they think is going to happen or what should happen. If the bills get paid and we find out and root out all the fraud that's happening, then so be it. No income tax would make this country so prosperous. We'd be able to pay our bills. People are like, well, would we be able to do this and do that? He's not going to do it if we can't pay for it. But once you start seeing, and like I said yesterday, you need to follow Doge on X. Once they get in and they start uncovering stuff, and by the way, I'm going to show you some things today. They're already uncovering some things. They are already uncovering some things that are going to make you go, you got to be kidding me. I showed you yesterday there was, $80 billion that the Pentagon had spent on DEI. I don't know where they spent that money, but they're going to find out. So let's listen to more about what Howard Lutnick has in mind.
I agree. But what would I do? I wouldn't buy Fiji water. I buy, another brand of water. I mean, yes, you are completely correct. If we don't make that particular product, that will go up. Anybody who says it's inflation is completely wrong because the other product hasn't gone up. There's only one way to get inflation. Print more money and give it to all of us. When we all have more money, everything is more expensive. So here was the idea. put a tariff out and say to the company, if you come to America and you produce in America, you get a tax credit for your tariff. So come to America, build in America, and I've spoken to lots. This came from discussions with lots of industry groups, and they said, if you give us 2 years, we can manufacture in America. We'll bring our production to America, and if you give us back our tariff, and of course it's a bargaining chip. We can't sell a Ford or GM in Europe. You go to Europe, you can't sell a Ford or GM. Why? There's 100% tariffs. How about in Japan? 100% tariffs. So do you think if we said, we're going to tariff you the way you tariff us, do you think they're going to allow Mercedes and all these Japanese companies and Porsches and BMWs to all of a sudden have 100% tariffs in America? Of course not. They're going to come and negotiate, and their tariffs are going to come down. And finally, Ford and General Motors are going to be able to sell in these places.
How's that sound, Andrew? That sounds cool.
See, what you're hearing from this guy is elementary math. If you want to sell here, but you're not letting us sell there, we're going to charge you more until the scales even out. You can't say, listen, we're gonna make it more expensive for business to sell in XYZ country, but you expect us to just consume all your stuff. That is classic wealth redistribution. You're going to tax the hell out of Americans, and you're going to import all these goods that they have to pay more for. Meanwhile, people over there don't have to worry about that. The left has made tariff sound like a bad word. And what he was talking about, the Fiji water, and I'm not sure if he's talking specifically about that brand, but it doesn't raise your prices. As long as, at the same time, the antitrust department here in the United States is making sure you have options. So when you walk into the store and you say, this water is $6 a bottle. This bottle is $1 a bottle. Your prices haven't raised. Your choices are different. Americans have to, begin, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Get that mentality. There's nothing wrong with saying, I like Fiji water, but they want, $6 a bottle, whereas, this bottle over here is from Pennsylvania, it's only $1. Yet then you can afford the $1 bottle, and so on and so on. That T-shirt that Walmart sells that comes from China might be $6, but you know what? There might be a company in America who can probably going to produce a better shirt for you, or it may come from Ecuador, a country that doesn't have imbalance in trade, or maybe the Dominican Republic. They're not saying you can't buy clothes from other areas. They would prefer for you to buy American, but America is going to have to compete. And all they're saying is, let's level the playing field so that all the companies here and ones that want to sell here can compete on a level playing field. It's that simple. When you walk up to the counter, or rather to the rack, and you see something you want to buy, and you pick it up and you look at the price tag and it's $6, and you can get something very similar for $2, that's a choice that you have to be able to make and would want to make. Hey, same thing, yeah. Same material, Cotton, yeah, everything looks good. Then why would you pay more? Now, obviously, depending upon your lifestyle and your choices, you may choose to do otherwise. You may say, I don't feel like buying a Ford car. I want a Mercedes. That's your choice. You're going to pay more. So you're not obligated to buy the cheaper one. You can buy whatever you want. So there really is no argument with this. It doesn't make any sense when you hear people get up there and lie to you and say, your prices are going to go up. No. The price for X, a t-shirt, is probably going to go down. It's just which t-shirt you're going to buy. It really is that simple. I wish they didn't try to make it seem like it was such a huge thing. How are we going to explain it to the American people? The American people will figure it out. You don't have to explain it to the American people. When they go to the store, they will look and see different price tags, and they will gravitate towards the one they choose to buy. It's that simple. It really is that simple. And just having that choice is going to make people more prosperous. There may be times, depending on the time of month and what you have in your pocket, you may say, you know what? I'm going to buy this dollar thing. I want to tell you something, and I'm not ashamed to say it. In here in Boca, which is probably one of the most affluent areas in South Florida, you know what the most crowded stores are in Boca? The thrift stores and the dollar stores. And you will pull up to a dollar store and pull into your parking space and be next to a Mercedes or a Bentley, and you see the ladies going in. They don't skimp on their bags. They may have the Fendi bags and everything, and they may have the Gucci glasses, but when they're walking in to get chips and cookies for the kids, they're in a dollar store. I swear to God, they are in there. So it's just a matter of understanding how to shop, where to shop, and how to look at things, and having the various options that will be available to you. They make it sound like it's so difficult, and it's really, really not.
It's going to come down. Of course, this is just negotiating.
It absolutely makes sense. If you do it strategically, if it's across the board, it creates a real problem. And the question is whether you believe the president is going to do it strategically or across the board. He keeps saying it across the board.
Well, when you're running for office, you make broad statements so people understand you.
Right.
Okay? Tariffs are an amazing tool by the president to use. They're an amazing tool, but he understands don't tariff stuff we don't make, right? If we don't make it and you want to buy it, I don't want to put the price up. It's pointless, but use tariffs.
You understand that now, right? That's how you make sure that you keep the prices where they are. The Democrats lie to you. Hey, we don't make this microphone. This microphone cannot be purchased from an American company, so we don't need to tariff this microphone. Obviously, there are American microphones, but I'm just saying, if we can't make it, then there's no reason to tariff it, because now you are hurting people. But if all of a sudden there was the same kind of microphone that's sitting right here, this microphone right there, if there was the same kind of microphone that you could buy, but this one's from China or South Korea versus this one in America, you can still buy the more expensive one. You just now have the option. Yeah, I think the Democrats are weirded out about this whole thing, because the question that will beg is the same question that happened in this election. When Kamala Harris was running and she's like, I'm going to do all this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, the easy question to ask her was, well, why the hell haven't you done it? And so what's happening right now is people are looking, and they will see, you are going to see as prices change and realize that tariffs aren't the boogeyman. The question is going to be, well, why didn't y'all do that? Hey, Democrats, hey, Elizabeth Warren, why didn't you do this? Why did you lie to us once again? Why did you tell us that the tariffs were the boogeyman and everything was going to fall apart in this economy and poor people were going to get stomped on, when the poor people were like, no, this is pretty good, I got more options? You lied. So whoever's running in 2026 and whoever's going to be running in 2028, that's going to be a campaign slogan. They lied to you. Everything they say to you is a doggone lie. And now you've lived through 2 years of the Trump economy. It's kind of hard. It's going to be very hard. That's why they're fighting right now. They're like, oh, crap, we can't let this guy succeed. Why can't we let him succeed? Why can't we let his picks get in? Because if his picks get in and he changes everything and people are more prosperous and more healthy, why would they ever vote against that? That's why the rats are biting back and trying to claw on everything, because their political capital, their lifespan is toast if Trump succeeds in the way he looks like he's going to succeed. And I just hope everybody understands that. Can you imagine? Just maybe you're a lawyer, maybe you want to be a politician, and 2 years from now, in the midterms, the Democrats and Republicans are running for different positions, and your stance is going to be anti-everything Trump is doing, but yet people love what Trump is doing. How do you win? There's just not enough baby removal to go around. especially 2 years in, when people realize, well, yeah, I can still have one. No, he didn't. No, he didn't make me and my friends die. He didn't take away all my rights. When the Transformers can still be Transformers, what are you going to tell them? You sold fear. And then 2 years later, they'll sit back and go, nothing happened to me. I was okay. Nothing happened. Yeah, that's right. And what do you think the result of that's going to be? I ain't voting for you. You're a liar. I'm okay with what Trump did. My life didn't have any negative effect. I can still, if I'm like that, I can still go have a baby removal, depending on what state you're in. You were lied to.
Build in America. If we want to make it in America, tariff it, or if we're competing with a tariff it. But you got to remember, we need to protect the American worker. Finally, someone's going to protect the American worker, and Donald Trump is here to protect the American worker.
Do you think we make a lot of money in tariffs, or if they're used as negotiating tactics? Look, tariffs will come down there. We're not going to have super high tariffs here either. There's not going to be a big pot of money at the end of the day.
I love that story. So which is it? Do we make a lot of money on tariffs, or we bring productivity here, and we drive up our workers here? So it's a win-win scenario. I like both of them. I think what's going to happen is we'll make a bunch of money on the tariffs, but mostly everybody else is going to negotiate with us, and we will be more fair. In 1948, right, we came up with something called the Marshall Plan, right? The world, Germany and Japan were destroyed after World War II, and we wanted to export our economy to them. So we made a rule. They could tariff us, and we won't tariff them. So they can rebuild. This is the best
explanation I've heard of.
So they can rebuild their economy. We rebuilt their economy using something called the Marshall Plan. Our economy is so awesome that we'll use it to help you rebuild. When should that have ended? What do you think, 1980? Right? 1985? I mean, why 40 years are Japan and Germany and all of Europe still tariffing the heck out of our auto industry, tariffing the heck out of our...
He should have paused there. He should have let them answer that. Why is it still happening? Why is it 40, 50 years later that all of these things are still happening to our economy? Why are we still spending money across the world when it's no longer 1940? Japan, if you've never been there, I've never been there, but I've seen so many videos and pictures, it became an economic powerhouse. Companies came from there that did everything electronics and autos because we kept subsidizing. Hey, we did something really bad. Here's some more money. Here's some more money. And the American people will continue doing this for how long? And so now we're at the state position where we need to take care of people here first. We did that already. We've given that the office. Can we not give any more? Can we start working on getting America first, get American people back on their feet? You've overtaxed them. We went through the jab-a-demic just like everybody else did. Now can we get everybody here prosperous again? No, you were halfway on the road to communism and Marxism, so that's what we want to just keep going. It's going to be easy now. We're almost there. We're destroying the country. We've convinced all these people that, the Republicans are evil and just want to take your money. And then so we're going to run on baby removal and all the other stuff that does nothing for America. And now you got a guy in there who's like, yeah, we're gonna rebuild America right now.
Furniture industry. Do you realize all your furniture you're buying that's made foreign? It seems crazy. Why? It's because they tariff us and we don't tariff them. It's so obvious.
So you just have to ask, why?